Oh,
That's the solution.
oh,
Yo, y'all caught us on the tail end of another funny conversation, man. What's going on what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another week on the Conscious Approach channel. JV Wiz here, Dogon SS is here, bring you that soulful social commentary on a weekly basis, the way we always like to do. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, appreciate everybody for watching, appreciate everybody for supporting our logical content. As my boy Dogon is over there chilling with his King Jaffe Jofer
that's right.
tunic. You know, he got the guard working for him this week, so that's the mood that we on. Before we get into this week's video, as I always like to say, we are in a race to 1,000 subscribers. So we appreciate everybody who is joining the tribe, and as we continue to grow the community, please hit that subscribe button so that you can be a part of what we do here on this channel on YouTube and get that notification whenever new content is posted to the channel. Also, go ahead and like this video. Also, leave a comment. Let us know where we went wrong. Let us know where we went right. We do pay attention to comments as long as they are not of the troll variety, and we do respond. So, join in. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about the subject matter because we appreciate the exchange and the dialogue. So, with those pleasantries out of the way, we'll go ahead and get right into it. First up, we are going to talk about what it means to hold down your street man. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I know who this woman is, even though the video clip that we are going to play does not preface who she is. I know who she is. We'll get into how it is that I know who she is once we start talking about what she said.
I like
But
to know
first, we'll
that.
go ahead and right. But first, we'll go ahead and play what she had to say. And essentially, she was on a podcast talking about what it means to hold down a guy who is in the streets. So if you are a woman and you date a street dude and he happens to get locked up, how do you maintain the right expectations? What does it mean to hold down a street guy?
Yeah,
Because she has the right mindset when it comes to this kind of stuff. So she wants to set all the ladies straight on the appropriate way to go about holding your street dude down when he gets bammed up. So we're gonna go ahead and play this snippet, man. See, the thing with this channel is we just report the news. We don't make any of this stuff up. We just find it. So this is a reflection of where the world is. You know what I'm saying? So this is in line with the stuff that we like to talk about on this channel, and this is no different. So we'll go ahead and play this, and then we will discuss what she had to say on the back end.
What I learned over the years is that if I'm gonna date someone that's in the streets, I have to be able to pick up his slack whenever he gets picked up, and that comes with I have to take care of the bills. I have to make sure that he's good. I have to make sure if he has kids, I have to make sure that I can provide for his kids as if he's still outside. And most men, they date women and they damage them and do all this bullshit out, while they're out. And when they go in, they don't have nobody. You don't have no one because while you was out here in the streets, you was doing her dirty. So why would she want to hold you down when you was doing her dirty? Like, for what? Doing me dirty again? And on top of that, some of them, they go inside and they continue to do the same bullshit that they was doing while they were out. But the only person that's standing on your curtain is the girl that was laying next to you this whole time.
what is she talking about? Like,
All right, so
you got to, first of all, you got to tell me how you know this scantily clad woman.
yeah, so this woman's name is Ayisha Diaz. And the reason why I know who she is because around 2014, 2015, I would say around this time, mid to late 20s, before I became aware and unplugged from the matrix, I went through a little stint where I wasn't a utilitarian and I followed several Instagram models. So I was a part of that ecosystem for a while. Our other buddy in our group, he brought home a copy of King Magazine one day back when King Magazine was a thing.
Oh yeah,
And she was on the cover. She was on the cover of King Magazine. And you know me, I like Latino women. So she's Dominican. And I, saw her on the cover, and I'm like, oh my God, who is this? This is like right up my alley. So, I looked her up, followed her on Instagram. And so for about a year and some change, I followed her before I realized what I was doing was silly. And I unfollowed it because I told you I purged all of that out of my system. I went through a detox once I realized that I was doing that goofy stuff. But that's how I know who she is, because when Instagram modeling was at its height, she, in my opinion, was by far the most beautiful woman on this earth, in my opinion. That was how highly I thought of her. And she was also somebody who was like, for the most part, natural. No surgeries, no lower body, butt implants, or none of that kind of stuff. I think since those days, she's may have gotten some surgeries up top, some kind of breast implants. But back in the day when I first became aware of her, she was just bad, like actual bad, not weirdo fake bad, not this weirdo stuff that they got going on out here. She was just like fine all the way around for real. So she was like my biggest, I had a thing for her big time back in that time before I unplugged and got out of that minefield of doing that Instagram model and all of that other crap.
You were
I never
saving.
did a whole lot of liking and commenting, though. That's one thing that I can say, is that I never did a whole lot of liking and commenting. But did I follow? I did. It was her and maybe a couple of others. Aaliyah Petty is another one I used to follow because they were just, mesmerizing physically. But once I realized that it suits me better to live a principled existence, I stopped following them because it served me no purpose. There was no practical purpose to follow them, as we've talked about on various subjects on other videos on this channel. So that's my brief history of how I know who she is. I'm pretty sure they introduced her by name if you watch the full version of that video. But in this particular clip, they didn't. They just got right into the talking points, and the title of the clip didn't mention her name. But Lord knows I recognize her. That's for sure. So that's my brief story on how I know who she is. But furthermore, what do you think about what she had to say about holding down her street man? When he gets locked up and what to do while he's locked up, and then holding it down when he gets out and all of that, holding down his kids, taking care of the bills. She laid it out. She got a whole game plan.
It barely made sense to me, to be honest. So I was like, what is she talking about? And so I don't get it. I mean, I really don't get it. I probably would need more context, but honestly, the word salads that she was going to deliver was just going to even, further confuse me. So I don't really think that this type of mindset speaks to the mindset of a certain kind of people. And it doesn't matter how good you look. And it's all about self-image, self-worth. And even though she looks good, she has self-esteem issues. It's as crazy as it sounds. Because if she didn't, she wouldn't seek so much attention. And so somebody who is thirsting after somebody who lives a life that would inevitably land somebody in prison, and then on top of that, if the person ends up going to prison for the lifestyle that they're obviously living, and then they're still doing this I'm holding them down thing, and that's what I'm saying, it's so vague. Like, what do you mean by hold down? Are you gonna always talk to them on the phone, or visit if you could, or write letters, or however, give him money and stuff like that? But when he's locked up for 8 years, is that box going to be on lock? No. So what are you talking about? So just because that you're being a companion to somebody that's locked up, I guess that's a degree of holding somebody down. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know what she's talking about. And I get what she's getting at, like, because you can completely abandon somebody once they get locked up. But again, like, why is this even a talking point? And for her to have this in her scope of thoughts of, I'm that type of woman to hold a man down who lives this type of lifestyle. And again, that speaks to her self-esteem. So the guy that's selling that stuff, he struggles with self-esteem issues, you know. So the woman that also struggled with self-esteem issues, she's going to be drawn towards this guy. So yeah, it doesn't matter how they look or what kind of lifestyles they've been exposed to. I'm pretty sure she's been on private jets, but she still rather deal with Mr. Ray Ray over in the cut, trapping in his what's that his white tee. So how about you, sir? How do you feel about this? Do you agree with this lifestyle? You think that she's got something to this?
I don't think she wants to get with Ray Ray in the white tee. I think she wants to get with Jeezy. I think that's what she has in mind when she's talking about my street dude is a hip hop type, rapper type, street type guy, but he's rich and can afford the lifestyle and do all of that stuff. But his image is street.
That's bland.
That's my speculation because that's my speculation. But he might also still be in the street doing that stuff for real because she mentioned about him, potentially getting locked up. It's interesting too because she said when she used the word when, which I found fascinating. So you actually anticipate
Yes.
him being incarcerated, like you anticipate the incarceration coming.
Yes.
That to me is mind-boggling. This is hip hop stuff. This to me is hip hop stuff. I try to be a reasonable, fair-minded individual, but I have found that as I continue to get older, I'm starting to understand what people like my pops and like my older cousins and my older brother used to say about the music that we were listening to. My brother's a Gen Xer, and my dad obviously is the child of a baby boomer. So they come from previous generations. My dad was born in the 50s. My brother was born in the 70s. And I can remember when we were coming up listening to our stuff, they'd be like, what is this? Like, what is this? What is this foolishness y'all are listening to? Like, are y'all actually like hearing these words and thinking that like life is supposed to be like this? And back then I was like, man, whatever, it's the music. Yeah. It is what it is, man. We just vibing to the music, man. Stop taking it so seriously. Probably what a lot of these jits say when we talk about the music they listen to.
Of course, that's
honestly. So like I used to be like, man, stop tripping off of that, man. We just listening to the music, like chill. But now that I'm, in my mid-30s at this point, I see exactly what they were talking about. And I try to be a fair-minded, reasonable individual who doesn't get on my. I try not to be get off my lawn guy who blames hip hop for everything because hip hop is it's a byproduct, right? It's a symptom. It's not the root. It's not the cause. But damn it, if I can't help myself sometimes, I just got to kind of point it out for what I see. This is hip hop stuff. This is interesting. Like from time to time, last week we talked about Lala because Lala talked about how she feels as though marriage is a miserable prospect and how everyone she knows is miserable in marriage. And people who are in marriages aren't happy. Overall, she feels like marriage is a complete sham and that people are miserable. And my point to Lala was, in a vacuum, what you're saying might be true, but you're not the right person to be saying that because your methodology for going about getting married is completely ass backwards. You go about getting married for the wrong reasons. And the pathology that you institute with respect to getting married leads me to say that you lack credibility when it comes to speaking on the subject of marriage in its entirety. That's just how I see that. And I feel like just like there is a horrible pathology when it comes to getting married, there's also a horrible pathology when it comes to mate selection. And that pathology comes from somewhere. So when it comes to people who are ingratiated in hip hop culture, they also adopt said pathologies for mate selection. This is just kind of how I see it. And the reason why I correlate this with hip hop stuff is because, like I said at the opening of this video, I know who she is. She was on King Magazine and Smooth Magazine and all of them different magazines. She was doing IG modeling back when IG modeling was at its height, when you could get on and make 10 stacks a week off of doing IG modeling. This was back when influencing first started, when it was just a deregulated Wild Wild West scenario. And if you look good and had a pretty face and a nice body, and you had somebody who was willing to endorse you, you could, you had 3, 4, 5 million followers. It was you were set. This was when Brittany Renner first became Brittany Renner, right? And her cohort is women like her, Petty the model, Aaliyah Petty, all of those types of people. This is where they got their start. And IG modeling in that ecosystem was directly intertwined with hip hop culture. These were the same chicks that was showing up in music videos. These were the same women who were dating the rappers and the athletes. And we all know that professional athletes and hip hop is also deeply intertwined. So a lot of these pathologies with respect to certain social interactions like marriage and mate selection are consistent across the board within these various contexts. And I look at a person like her and I say, because she was a part of that environment, a part of that ecosystem, a part of the hip hop scene, she's adopted this pathology for mate selection, and she's lived it ever since. And you can't break her out of it. It's her reality, it's her existence, and it will forever be her existence for life. And quite frankly, I feel sorry for her. And what I find most interesting about it is, from time to time when I'm kind of perusing the internet, and I'm curious, I'm just curious. I'll see certain commercials come on TV, or I'll be on certain websites, or I'll catch wind of certain streaming shows or certain movies, and there will be certain actresses who I'm not very familiar with because I don't watch much TV or movies for that matter. But I know, but part of the reason why I don't know who they are is because they're not a part of the hip hop ecosystem. And since I'm a hip hop kid from that generation, even if I don't know your work, I might still know who you are if you're a part of that hip hop ecosystem. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if I don't recognize you, it means you're not a part of that world. And so I become curious, and I might look up their relationship status or their marital status or something like this, just out of curiosity, for shits and giggles. And I'll look up some of these women, and a lot of them are married or in relationships to these nondescript guys who I've never heard of, guys who are in business or finance or in tech, or maybe it's a a surgeon or a doctor or somebody like this, a man who's successful in some industry, and you'll never hear about him because he's not on the scene like that. I look this stuff up because I find it fascinating. And it's like, if marriages and relationships are so crazy, as a lot of women would, like Lala would pray tell them to be, then where is this whole other side where I can look up some of these other actresses who didn't come up in that kind of environment, and I can see that they're not with street dudes, rappers, pro ballers. They're not doing any of that, and they're just dating, whatever, lawyers or doctors or surgeons, engineers, guys in the tech field, businessmen in certain other industries. Take your pick. It is what it is, whatever the case may be. And those women aren't talking about how they're going to be with their street dude, anticipate him being incarcerated, and while he's incarcerated, talk about how you holding down the fort and taking care of his kids and paying all the bills and dealing with all those other dysfunctional dynamics while he's serving his bid and doing his thing. But those women also aren't ingratiated with the hip hop ecosystem. And so there's a whole nother world out there, folks. And, for women like Ayisha, unfortunately, she is a part of that. And so because she's been a part of that reality pretty much since she's been an adult, because she's been doing this since she was in her early 20s, that's now a part of her. And so she now has adopted the pathology associated with what constitutes mate selection, in that particular lane, or in that particular subculture of Americanized, westernized society. So that's pretty much how I see it. I just kind of feel like this is hip hop stuff. I'm not necessarily trying to blame hip hop. I'm just trying to unravel the progeniting behavior, in my opinion. And I kind of find that to be the progeniting behavior of this particular dynamic, and why she speaks on it in this manner. And I do think it's unfortunate. And when you peel back the layers and you kind of pierce the veil and talk about some of the various dynamics inherent in hip hop, being from the streets and being somebody who might get locked up because of what you're doing, um, tends to get associated with masculine qualities. And, women by and large are most attracted to men who exhibit what they perceive to be masculine. And so I also think that that factors into it as well. But this is just more hip hop talk, street talk, BET talk, whatever you want to call it, BMF talk, power talk, all of that good stuff. This is just more of that. Can you be, can you be surprised and disappointed at the same time? I don't
Yeah,
know.
bro.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah, right. So that's how I feel. Like, I'm not surprised to hear her say that, and I'm also disappointed to hear her say that.
I
So
hear
I'm
that.
simultaneously not surprised and disappointed. But she was always one of my favorites. I've always been enamored with her. Lately, not so much because I removed myself from that ridiculous, non-practical, non-utilitarian lifestyle of following women on the internet, let alone Instagram models. And so I purged myself of her and the rest of them, and I'm all the better for it. But it is what it is, and that's just kind of how I saw this one. Lucky for you street dudes out here in the streets, when you get locked up, you'll know that this chick is holding you down in whatever way that means, because I also don't know exactly what that means.
That's what I'm saying,
Because I
bro.
highly doubt that she'll be keeping her leg. I highly doubt she's keeping her legs closed the entire time.
That's what I'm saying.
That's,
Like
yeah, that's
the
my
other
speculation.
yeah, the satellite stuff, because the guys do need that in there, so the phone calls, the visits whenever they could, all of that stuff, those guys need that. So that is a degree of holding it down. But what are you talking about? How far are you talking about holding it down? How deep we talking? Unless bro give you the green light, because some dudes in there are understandable from what I hear. And they be like, all right, man, but you know what I'm saying? Just keep doing this. But when I get back, when I get out,
Right.
all that bullshit stop. So there's those contexts, but even then, man, it's just like, why choose that? But I didn't think that angle until you mentioned the whole hip hop angle. See, I don't know this. I don't know this woman. I've seen her around. A face here there. I didn't know her name,
She
but
even showed up. She even showed up real brief. She was even, I don't think she's ever been a main cast member, but she was on Love and Hip Hop New York. For how long, I don't know. I don't watch the show, but I remember several years ago when that show was in season, it would pop up on VH1 and I'd see her. So again, I don't know if she was a main cast member or whether she was like popping up on random episodes here or there, but she was also a part of that show for however long she was a part of it.
all right, man, she's gorgeous now. I'll give her that. It's a lot of it's effortless, and as you said, you can tell it's not any reconstructive crazy stuff going on.
Yeah.
But be that as it may, I didn't think of the hip hop angle of her dealing with a rapper guy or somebody in that lane where she can have industry love possibly. Um, you know, power couple, new age, you know. So I didn't even think of that angle, much like the whole Brittany Renner, campaign, the Lala campaign, these talking points where they're just going on these podcasts, just randomly getting interviewed and giving these hot takes about how they'll hold men down or how the market isn't really looking for quality women or whatever they're talking about. And they're going on these things and they're giving these points because they're looking for suitors. And somebody gonna bite on that. I'll tell
Oh
you that
yeah.
much. Somebody's gonna
Oh
bite on
yeah.
that. But she's looking for a particular guy, some guy that will go to prison. So it's not a matter of if, it's when, right? So she's looking for a guy that's going to go to prison. So if
She
you're
even
into
said
that,
when. She
yeah,
said she said when. So I don't know if she was just saying that flippantly, but she said when, he goes in or get however she phrased it, but it was like the anticipation of him getting locked up,
Oh,
which
that
is
was
wild to me.
hey, she said it, so she meant what
Yeah,
she said. Yeah, she meant what she said. So so yeah, so if that's the lifestyle that she's into, be that as it may, got a close friend, you know, and I know a lifestyle he lives. It's off the grid, and he just makes his money. And the guy was just getting, I mean, gorgeous young ladies, well to do. They'll do his homework. And meanwhile, they were just happy to be around a goon. And these girls were pretty and nice, and I was like, wow, what are these girls dealing with? What is this? But they like that danger element. It's just something to it. So if there was a guy, I told you, man, I gave an analogy, man. A woman don't want a Prius, man. She don't want that. And that's boring. It's safe, it's reliable, low maintenance. Why would I want that? She wants a challenge. And so she wants sports car, luxury car, man. And that comes with a lot. It's a lot of scamming, a lot of weird stuff goes on at the top. So, and she's down for it. So, hey man, yeah, she been chose this life, man. If you're posing on King magazine, so if she was doing that back then, she was escorting herself then. You don't get on those magazines covers if you didn't sit on somebody's couch. So, hey man, this girl know how I go, man. She play her role. Yeah, I didn't know she was out there, man. But very interesting. I seen her in one interview randomly. I was like, because of course I'm scrolling on YouTube. I'm like, damn, who that? And as soon as she started talking, I was like, and then I just I left the video because I'm like, what are you talking about? But when you're that pretty, you don't have to say things that sound smart. So
no, you don't. Yep. Yeah, I just we talk about mind control on this channel all the time. You don't believe that there is a such thing as entertainment. You just call it mind control, social conditioning,
programming.
Yeah, and the various forms of social conditioning that we expose ourselves to as we develop and as we grow into adulthood really do have a profound effect on our decision making process and our perceptions on life in general. And it is my opinion. So this is my opinion. You can disagree with me, not you, but anybody who's watching this video. You can disagree with me. It's okay. I don't mind if you disagree with me, but it is my opinion that people, women in particular, who grow up within the construct of hip hop culture develop a pathology for mate selection in which they perceive street dudes as masculine. And I think, well, first of all, it's a fact that women are drawn to men whom they perceive to be masculine. So if a guy is street and women perceive streetness as a masculine quality, then they're going to be more drawn to those guys. And I think it stands to reason that you have a much higher likelihood to perceive streetness as masculine when you grew up listening to music that impresses upon you the idea that men from the streets are masculine. And I think that's where this comes from. And I think that she's just a part of that because she is undoubtedly a part of the hip hop ecosystem. Double XL, King, Smooth, all of these publications that I used to see her in, IG modeling, hip hop videos, love and hip hop TV shows. She's a part of that world, undoubtedly. She used to post on IG whenever she would make a club appearance. Same stuff Brittany Renner used to do. Oh, I'm going to host this party at this club on this night. It's this rapper's birthday party, blah, blah, blah. So she's a hip hop chick. Diamond doesn't, just like the rest of them. You can pluck them all out from a lineup. They all do, act, say, and think the same damn way. And she is no different, unfortunately, for me, because she's one of the ones that I really did like. But that's kind of where I feel like this stuff is coming from. And so, again, not surprised to hear her talk on that, but I'm also disappointed at the same time. So it is what it is. It's just, it gives us another lens through which to view some of these various pathologies and the origins of them and where they come from, and how once they're firmly supplanted in your brain and in your psychosis, they really aren't going to go nowhere. They really aren't going to go nowhere.
Well,
Lala
because
can get married to another NBA player after Carmelo, and that dude will do the same thing to her, and the marriage will dissolve, and she'll get back on the market as a single woman and try and marry another NBA player. People can't help themselves, and these women can't help themselves, and she's no different.
I hear it. And this is all, and I'll say this is all stemming from primal areas of women, which is why you would say that modern feminism is an utter fallacy.
Absolutely.
because everything they do is from primal stuff. Women is as primal as it get. Boy, they just want what women want, and it's what men is or should be. And so here's the thing. Well, it's a challenge out there. I don't know the name of the song, but go watch Chief Keef's first music video. Just type that in and watch. And boy's probably like 13, 14 years old now. Look at the look in his face. Then look at the people around him's face who are all around his age. But look at Chief Keef's face, because he's the main one. You can tell he's the one who has no face. He was soulless. I was like, what is this? First time I saw it, I was scared. I was like, this little dude younger than me. He's scaring me. He looks like he would shoot me. And so I was like, what is this? And all those kids around him look like they'll shoot somebody. I'm sure they have. And I'm looking at these kids and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? The draw of Chief Keef from the masses was from that cold, emotionless, I'll do anything kind of thing. To tie it into primal energy, I'm gonna be 100 with you, bro. If you weren't chilling, if you weren't in a village type of situation where y'all generation after generation just living in the bushes and chilling, and no fighting and nothing like that, it's all good. But if you was living in an area where there was warfare, you had to be a warrior, and you had to do stuff and be a soldier. Ain't nothing but so many men in the village anyway, so every man's a soldier. So, but now, we got people clicking mouses and tapping keyboard. Then she looks at you, and her primal side is going, this is so lame. That's why women like outdoorsy, worky men. It shows that they're doing something primal. That's him building that hut. That's him, you know what I'm saying, with the guys doing whatever, hunting and gathering. And so when you're just doing whatever things, women don't find that attractive because it's not primal enough. That's why they like football players and athletes, because they're the warriors of men now. And so they gravitate towards that hardness. And so when it comes to street dudes, those street dudes, to tie this into Chief Keef, they have this coldness because of all the trauma they've been through. That coldness isn't, it's not an act. That coldness is trauma. They've seen too much. They've been through too much. And it's a stale face. Whenever they encounter a woman, they treat them with a heavy hand. because they treat everybody in life with a heavy hand because they're so scarred. They like that weird stuff. So women being the opposite of men want soft, from a woman, and women want hard from a man. And it's more than his exterior. It's his makeup and what will make him go to war. Street dudes are more inclined to go to war, whether it's towards our own people or not. They're more inclined to go to war than the guy who clicks his keyboard. So that primal side of them is attracted to that kind of energy. Hip hop, makes the situation worse, and it glamorizes it. And so that's where all of that stuff gravitates towards too. So yeah, man, this is it doesn't make it right, but it just speaks to just men in general, that you don't have to be a goon or a street dude, but you got to be more active. If you do live a life of clicking a keyboard, you got to get some skills about your life, so you can be an asset to a woman and her family, and your family, excuse me. So, but yeah, teach their own with this one. My DMs are open, ma'am. It is SS. All right. You can find me on Instagram. All right. So just go ahead and look me up.
Yeah, she's very high on my list. She really is. So
Oh, my bad. You got her, man. Let me get the other one.
What's the other one you said? Yeah, no, I was just it just it is what it is. It's just funny. It's interesting to talk about for sure, because a lot of this stuff does have an origin. So when she speaks on that, it's fascinating to peel the layers back. But if you know her history and kind of the type of industry she came up in and where she earned her bones, you can kind of connect the dots on that and understand why she would talk like that. But nevertheless, it makes it for interesting content. That's what I say.
Yeah, and one more thing, and get primal in y'all's thoughts, y'all. Relate current things to primal stuff. It answers a lot of questions. So that little exercise that I did with the primal things, just relate things to primal things, and then it'll go, oh, you know what? Maybe that's what's going on there. So just thought. Just a thought.
Yeah, practical advice indeed. And yeah, Ayisha, if you happen to watch this video, JV wins at JV wins.
Yeah,
I'm not a street dude, but I have far more useful skills. What Liam Neeson said in Taken, I don't have money, but I have a unique set of skills. I got a whole lot of unique sets of skills. So, go ahead and holler at me. I'm open. But you're gonna have to reach out to me, because I'm not following no more IG models. Or period any. But yeah, cool stuff. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Oh boy.
Oh man, come on. How we go from that to this? I'm sitting here looking at the other one squatted over. I'm like, okay, we live. Now I gotta look at this.
Yeah, we gotta go. We gotta talk about the UNI-BOOB model. We gotta talk about the UNI-BOOB model, because this is insanity. This puts what Cardi B talked about a couple weeks ago on a whole nother level. If you follow this channel, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about how Cardi B was on a Revolt show discussing her plastic surgeries and how she is in pursuit of the perfect body with her plastic surgeries. This makes Cardi B look mild by comparison.
Yes.
This is some sad shit. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this because I really kind of couldn't believe it when I initially saw it. But this is an article from TMZ. I'm not going to play the TMZ interview because TMZ is notorious for their copyright strikes. If we play that video, as soon as you hear that boom, 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 YouTube is going to flag it. And next thing you know, nobody sees this video. And I ain't with that. So I'm going to just go ahead and read this real quick. And then I'm going to play a short snippet from her Instagram. So this woman's name is Mary Magdalene. She's an Instagram model, apparently. And her whole entire body is just completely artificial. I don't know if there are any parts of her corporal self left that God gave her. But this is an article from TMZ. It says, UNI-BOOB IG model. I'm not mentally ill. Body morphing was my, quote, extreme sport. The Instagram model who had one of her 38J, I'm going to repeat that, 38J breast implants pop, is having her mental health questioned online, but she says she's not ill and views plastic surgery as a hobby. The Canadian model who goes by Mary Magdalene on social media tells us she started getting plastic surgeries at 18 and after 12 years and a ton of procedures. She says she started feeling like her plastic transformation was her own way of being an adrenaline junkie. Mary says she's just like anyone who gets super into extreme sports, but instead of climbing bigger mountains or jumping from higher heights, she went bigger and bigger with her injections from her lips to her butt and, of course, her boobs. As we reported, Mary says she's going to change to a more, quote, natural look after one of her 11-pound boob implants popped, leaving her with a uniboob and a bunch of tattooed skin. I wish that I was making this up, but I am not making this up. Mary says her out of this world surgeries brought her happiness over the years, but adds her feelings have changed and now she's going to change her appearance. In fact, she says if her implant didn't pop, she would have gone even bigger with her next procedure and doubled her already massive 38J cup size. The IG model says she's going to do her next breast procedure in Brussels, and she's going under the knife twice for a breast reduction that will set her back nearly $33,000 and bring her breast implants down from 5,000 cc to 700 cc. Complete and utter insanity. So before we get into the commentary, I'm going to go ahead and play this video from her Instagram. This will not get us hit for copyright because it is her Instagram. So this will not get us hit with copyright. But I just want to play. This is when she initially announced what happened. So this is her page here, or one of them rather. The TMZ interview is also on here, but I'm also again not going to play that because TMZ just has these algorithm bots out on the interwebs, and if they detect that you're playing anything that they have a patent on, they'll hit you with a copyright strike. But this particular clip, for this particular clip, there is no copyright, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this. And then after that, we'll just go ahead and get into it. But yeah, some pretty wild stuff, bro.
Jesus.
You guys, so this is my boob now. So I haven't been very active on this account because I've been on my other account, so I will post that below in my caption. But yeah, basically my breast implant popped again, and I am having surgery to take them out next week. I am gonna go back natural, not just my boob, but other parts of my body.
Oh my goodness.
Or should I just keep it like this? Hey, you guys, so...
Oh my God. This is rough.
All right, so there you have it. That's Mary Magdalene and her 38J breasts.
Is that the total recall boobs? Well, with the 3?
Yeah, you dating it. I think that's a Photoshop image, but it's inspired by Total Recall. Yeah, it's inspired by Total Recall, and I don't know anybody who's watching this who knows the original Total Recall movie, not the remake that they did.
Yeah, man, the one with
yeah, the one with Schwarzenegger in the 80s. But yeah, man, what do you make of this maddening situation?
this is sick. It's literally sick. And it's hard. It was hard to watch. Um I've heard of her probably like 2-3 years ago. No, not 2 years ago. What year is this? So it's probably like 4 years ago. Um that's back when I used to be on IG heavy. And I came across this and I was like, what is, because this is when BBLs was like really blowing up. It wasn't really called BBLs, but people was getting it done for real. And this was extreme. And I thought that when I first saw it, I was like, is where we're gonna go? But then I also thought that, well, this is conditions. Some people have conditions. They just can't stop. And so then I just isolated it off as she's an outlier. She got the Michael Jackson, the Little Kim. Who else couldn't stop plastic surgery? I mean, they just kept going, and it's just like you're just melting away. You look disgusting. I really feel like doctors who continue to operate on these people should be put in prison. Because this is all cosmetic. These guys aren't real doctors. They're just injecting people with stuff. So I feel like they should be put in prison. I feel like this is like, when a guy at the bar has had too many drinks and the bartenders keep serving them. Somebody's got to be held accountable here. And at some point, the bartender has to go, you've had enough. Yeah. And it should be the point to where, if you stagger to the next bar, I just go to the next one and just stagger to the next bar. The bartender should be able to go and look at their scenario and go, I'm sorry, I can't enhance anything. I can take stuff out. You want me to do that? And, but for her to continue to keep going, she's built a brand off of this. I'm sure she's getting some type of internet income from this. So, yeah, man, there's no incentive to stop. She said exploded again. She said that she was going to get bigger ones before it exploded. So she clearly didn't see anything wrong with this abomination. So yeah, man. Yeah, it's just sick, dude. But she's clearly an extreme case. Cardi B, she has the celebrity syndrome of it. If she's not careful, she will end up like Little Kim. All right. She just hadn't gotten there yet. And but yeah, how do you feel about this, man? This is sick stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to mistake this for something that's a norm. This is definitely an extreme case. But still, things are extreme cases, but over the course of the passage of time, extreme cases throughout history have become less extreme, the more not necessarily normal, but the more cases of them come about. So she's an extreme case now for sure. But if we don't dial back some of this narcissism, she's going to be less extreme in 10 years. And in 10 years, she's going to be more of something that you see more on a regular basis. And that's the scary thing is, in whatever recesses of the internet in which she makes her money, she receives validation for looking this way. I don't think people do stuff like this like in a vacuum. I think people do stuff like this, body alterations, conforming to certain behaviors, when they see or experience some sort of redeeming response or validation of the behavior. It's a reward. It's like giving a dog a treat. Like if a dog like people talk about how dogs do things because of how obedient they are. But how do you train a dog to be obedient? by rewarding them for doing certain behaviors. So in the absence of that reward, you can't really train the dog to be obedient. The dog's being obedient because it anticipates receiving a reward. And like I think that women like her and people in general do this type of stuff because they've received some sort of validation from it in the past in some kind of way. So in whatever weird incel recess of the internet that she operates, she realized that the more surgery she gets, the more she will be redeemed for it by her weirdo followers and her weirdo tribe. And so it became addicting. It became a drug. And she just kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it because she kept receiving the validation. And at a certain point, that validation takes over, and you just become this vessel for narcissism. And you just start to do things in extreme because of the validation that you anticipate getting in return. So, like, you know, the internet and the interwebs and social media in general, OnlyFans, all of this kind of stuff, TikTok, Instagram. And this is not, I'm not breaking ground here. This isn't something that we don't already know, but it really has created a society of narcissistic humans. Now, humans by nature have always been narcissistic. I think there's a baseline primal, to use a word that you use from this video, need to be validated by other human beings because we're social creatures in some kind of way. But I do think that one of the unintended consequences of the internet and social media is that primal instinct for narcissistic behavior has been greatly exaggerated to the point where you see individuals like her doing this kind of stuff. And, you know, pretty soon we're just going to be looking like not even real people. Just, you know, we're gonna look like the way that she looks. If I were to get on like Xbox Live or whatever they call it now, or the PlayStation, like if I was still in the video gaming, I could create an avatar of myself that looked like her. Like, and you know, and that would be my virtual representation. You know, like there was a movie called Altered Carbon, I think was the name of it. It was on Netflix. It had Anthony Mackie in it. And basically, it was a movie about what happens when people stop interacting in person and just no, it wasn't Altered Carbon. I can't think of the name of the show. Altered Carbon is a different show on Netflix that had Anthony Mackie. But there was a show that had Anthony Mackie, and it was about virtual reality and what happens when people cease interacting in person and basically just put on VR headsets and start living in these virtual realities where they're not even real people anymore. They're just living through their avatars. I forget. My apologies for not knowing the name of that show off the top of my head, but somebody who's watching this video can mention it in the comments.
Yeah, I know what it is.
You okay? Right. So like she looks like that. Like if I wanted to put on a headset and interact with her avatar, I would imagine it looked like her. But the real version of her would look like an actual human being. And so we're getting to the point in our culture and in our society where you don't need to put on a VR headset or play Fortnite or Call of Duty, you know what I'm saying, or whatever else these kids are playing nowadays, to see greatly exaggerated caricatures of human beings. You can now see it in person. And again, she might be a real life case, but I think that the more narcissistic we come and the more addicted to, you know, alternate realities and metaverses that we become addicted to, the more readily available that this is going to be. Because as we become more ingratiated with this stuff, you know, the more we're going to validate that. And the more we validate it, the arbiters of it, such as herself, are going to just lean into it even more and more because of said validation. So I would advise everybody to ask yourself whether you want to live in a world in which people like that are more and more commonplace. UNI-BOOBs. You want a bunch of chicks walking around with size J breasts, and they only got one because the other one popped. You know, it sounds doom and gloom, but I kind of feel like we're headed in that direction. You know, it might be a slow burn, but you have to imagine that she might be one of several at this point who looks like that or who's in that predicament. She's just one of the ones that we know about because she's more front facing. But you have to imagine that there's a tribe of this going on somewhere on the internet, somewhere in the world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I could probably, I live in Miami. I live in Miami, Florida. There's probably some hole in the wall strip club or some prominent strip club or some place that I can go to and I can get my rocks off in a room surrounded by women who look like this. Now, it ain't my cup of tea, but you know, we're dealing with new humans, as you like to say.
It's
we're
not. Yeah.
we're dealing with new humans, and with new humans, you never know what to expect. And there's probably a whole slew of new humans who look at this and they're just like, yeah, that's my stilo. So, the buck has to stop somewhere with this narcissism and this penchant for glorifying these extreme forms of narcissism. It's got to stop somewhere. Where does the buck stop? I don't know, because I've been hopped off this train. But a lot of y'all need to check yourselves, because this is absolute madness. And if you want to live in a world, in a society where this is what you see walking down the street every other day in real life, not in weirdo avatar world, this is what you can expect. And we're certainly headed in that direction, I think.
Yeah, I'll say that um, people are animals. They're just they have to be trained. So when you're born and you're being tended by your mom and your caregivers or whoever, they're training you to do everything. You have to be trained to be mature. And if you weren't trained to be mature, then you're going to do animal stuff. I think a lot of people give humans too much credit. And we really have to look at us. And I'm sure people have said this before, but look at it as really animals who need training. And if you've been around somebody that had no home training, you know what I'm talking about. And they come in your house and they do all this stuff, being so disrespectful, doing all these other things, just tearing up your house. And you go, what is going on? They weren't trained. They had no home training. And if since they didn't have any home training, they behaved like an animal that can walk and talk.
Yeah.
This woman is behaving like an animal who can pay for surgeries. She didn't have any training. This woman's clearly traumatized.
Yeah.
She wears it all over her body and inside
Yeah.
of it. I've heard of more BBLs, like actual asses exploding, than boobs. But I've heard of boobs exploding, but not in a long time. And especially not somebody from a community like this, a BBL community. It was more for like from porn stars and weird type of stuff that was going on back in the day. But apparently it's still going on now. Again, I don't get these rubber plastic fetishes. Um, it does nothing for me. It's hideous. And like
Grotesque.
it's grotesque. You said this woman, this is a shell of a human.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to talk about bots and just like you said, bro, an avatar. Like, what is she doing? So there's a lot more of these people. And just like I spoke about in the last one, man, with those street dudes with all that trauma, man, you got to get trained. And on top of being trained, people need therapy on top of the training that they got. So you need to be trained on how to function. And then while you're functioning, life happens. So you're going to need a therapist on top of that. And people go through life with no training and no therapy. So now you get narcissism. So that ties back into your narcissism thing where, yeah, I think narcissism is an innate thing because all bad human qualities are innate.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people do them. You have to have training and integrity to not do those things. Oh, yeah, I was born this way. Yeah, everybody was. We chose not to do that. What are you not understanding here? So yeah, man, training is a dynamic, man, but clearly she's missed the boat. This is a complete lost cause. I mean, it's a ticking time bomb at this point. Literally exploding.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, like what's going on? T minus. What are you talking about? You just said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get more surgery." What? So,
Ooh.
hey man, Mary Magdalene. I bet the Catholics love this woman.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah. We can go ahead and move on. I feel like that was a good note to end that one on, but I feel the same way. Yeah, the lack of home training and inherent trauma, all that factors in. There's just, I'm sorry, I understand that we're trying to force hyperliberalism, but there's nothing that anyone can tell me to convince me that this is standard human behavior. I'm sorry. It's not. This is something that needs to be reined in, and this is the result of what can happen when baseline animalistic human behavior goes unchecked, and it's undesired baseline animalistic behavior. This is what happens when it goes unchecked. You get stuff like this, and other unchecked people validate it, and it perpetuates the behavior because she receives fuel from the validation to just continue to do it and repeat it. I mean, D wasn't enough, E wasn't enough, F wasn't enough, H, I, you're on J. Like your cup size is on J. At that point, you have no limits. At that point, there's no limit. There's no limit. At that point, you're just going to test the limits of what it is that you can do. And to rationalize it by comparing it to extreme sports exemplifies the delusional state that these individuals are in. So it is what it is, man. Interesting content for the channel, nevertheless. But yeah, lost souls, home training, narcissism, all of that kind of stuff feeds into it. But I just kind of look at this type of stuff and I say, we're just going to be living in one of those weirdo alternate realities, except it's going to be real life.
Yep.
How long it's going to take? Yeah. How long it's going to take? I don't know, but it's coming. It's coming. And she's one of the first. She, and it is what it is. But Mary Magdalene, I hope your breast reduction surgery goes well. Get that thing down to 700 cc's, whatever that means. Maybe there's some genius plastic surgeon who can restore that pop breast of yours, get you to at least resemble a vague version of a human being for your sake. I hope that's somewhere in your future. Otherwise, good luck and have at it. That's what I say.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Get out of here.
Crazy.
Can't stand that woman.
Oh God. All right, next up, we're going to talk about another friend of the channel, LeBron. We're going to talk about LeBron and his recent comments after Kyrie Irving, another friend of the channel, was traded to the Dallas Mavericks. So a little sports talk to round out Conscious Approach for this week. So anybody who is not following this, if you follow sports in the NBA, you already know what's going on. Kyrie Irving, after he and the Brooklyn Nets were unable to come to terms on a long-term extension, requested to be traded, and he ended up being traded to the Dallas Mavericks. And there was speculation that he might be traded to the Lakers and be playing with LeBron and Anthony Davis, and that would make the Lakers better, and the Lakers might go ahead and be in championship contention as a result. But that didn't happen because he was traded to Dallas. LeBron subsequently was interviewed by Michael Wilbon. from ESPN, and Michael Wilbon asked him how he felt about the fact that the Lakers did not land Kyrie Irving. And so that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about LeBron's comments and Kyrie and the trade and what it all would have meant had he gone to the Lakers, and what it all means that he didn't go to the Lakers and he ended up in Dallas. But first, we're going to play what LeBron had to say. So we are going to so basically what this is Michael Wilbon asked LeBron how he feels about the missed opportunity and the Lakers not signing Kyrie Irving, and this was LeBron's response. King James, the purported greatest of all time according to some people.
That's right.
So this was LeBron's response to Michael Wilbon's question. So here's what LeBron had to say, and then we'll give our 2 cents.
Well, definitely disappointed. I can't sit here and say I'm not disappointed on not being able to land such a talent, but someone that I had great chemistry with and know I got great chemistry with on the floor that can help you win, championships in my mind, in my eyes. But my focus is shifted now. My focus is shifted back to where it should be, and that's this club now, and what we have in the locker room.
That's a quick pivot, LeBron.
It's a quick pivot. It don't take me long. It don't take me long. I don't get too excited about the possibilities of things that can be. I kind of envision myself on what it can, but I don't invest it all the way until I know it's happening. And when it does not happen, I'm back locked in on the job at hand. So, we had an opportunity. I think our names was out there. The Lakers' name was out there. We had an opportunity. Didn't happen. We move on, and we finish the season strong. We go in healthy, and we compete with anybody.
Oh my God. The count is just like, it's like heartburn. It was killing you. I'm like, bro, he didn't say anything. As soon as he got exposed, he just started word salading. He ain't said nothing.
LeBron is a politician, man. LeBron is kudos to you, LeBron. Good job for knowing how to compartmentalize and move on whenever something doesn't work out for the Lakers and your club. There he goes again, using that word, club. He's such a politician, yo. Such a politician. Good for you, LeBron. Good for you. Way to compartmentalize.
This whole scenario plus response is what people don't like about LeBron. They don't like that. That whole dance. Because he was like, hell yeah, I want a Kyrie. But if you want a Kyrie, you wanted to trade people on your current team. And then, well, since I knew I couldn't, get him, it's back to focus. It's back to the that's when he was being genuine. As soon as Wilbon goes, it's a quick pivot, LeBron. You were just about to throw your dudes all up under the bus just so you can get Kyrie. Now you're focusing back on them. Quick pivot. Because then he didn't know what to really say. He didn't have an answer for that. So then that's why he just started, just saying things. And that's the part that was just like, oh my God, bro, just be straight up. He was straight up when he said that. So hell yeah, I want Kyrie. And yeah, these guys are bums. You see this crap. Of course we can use Kyrie. But since we're not getting Kyrie, okay, let's just get back to it. If Wilbon said that was a quick pivot and then he just doubled down on it, it's like, hey, man, this is business. Life is life. Business is business. And Kyrie gave us the best chance of succeeding in business. Since he's not coming, then we have to try our best to succeed with the business that we have on our team. Boom. All this riff-raff, the whoop-de-whoop. Yeah, bro, So that's the part about it. I was just like, ah, damn, bro, just be straight up. I can't stand people who can't just be straight up and they got to do all this dancing. It's clearly lying, and that's the part. He used to be better at this. He just wasn't ready for that one, I guess. But I think for me is that because he's been the president of the United States since what year he came in the league? 2005, 4,
2003.
He came 3. Yeah, he came when we were still in school. So he came in 2003. So I'd say around 2005, 2006, 2007, he became president of the United States. And he's been out here shaking hands, kissing babies, staying out of the drama windows when it comes to certain things, because it could be worse with this guy. But you know, and especially in the days of social media, and you hear all those old heads that say, "Hey, man, boy, if they had cameras when I was in the league, well, I would have been all kind of blah, 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 blah." Yeah, man, those are some wild cocaine parties, weren't those back in the 80s and 90s, wasn't it? You can't do that now. So LeBron is as clean cut as you can be for being a super mega star that he is. So yeah, man, he got to do this tap dancing and, you know, politically correct stuff. I thought he was going to be more straight up than this, but you know, he's going to do that. As far as the whole trade and things like that, why not? But I think LeBron would be foolish if he didn't want Kyrie on his team because his team sucks. So. How about you, sir? What you say? You say LeBron is you think he was in the right for wanting Kyrie, or you feel like he can do better without him?
Oh, I'm sure he wanted them. I'm glad that it didn't happen. Whoa is LeBron. Oh, poor baby. Poor thing. Poor baby LeBron out there with the Lakers. Poor baby. You know, oh, we didn't get Kyrie. The Lakers doing LeBron so wrong. Poor thing. When's LeBron been straight? LeBron's been a politician for a very long time. This guy has systematically attempted to get coaches fired from his teams. He tried to get rid of Eric Spoelstra. He got rid of David Blatt. He tried to get rid of Tyronn Lue. He's been a coach killer. And he, in secret, tries to orchestrate trades to make his teams better. And then when those trades leak and become public, he reverses and says, "Oh, I had nothing to do with it. I'll let the front office." And then he gets celebrated for it when other players would get criticized for doing the exact same thing. Woe is me with LeBron. I'm glad that trade didn't go down. Now, I'm pretty sure he wanted Kyrie. I'm pretty sure he wanted him, because why wouldn't you want somebody who you are compatible with from a basketball standpoint, who helped you win? The high point of your career is when you won that championship in Cleveland in 2016. That's your greatest career achievement. If Kyrie wasn't there, it wouldn't have happened. Kyrie, in my opinion, is the biggest reason why Cleveland won that series, in addition to referees suspending players and Golden State getting injured, having significant injuries. But that's neither here nor there. Kyrie being on that team and performing the way he did throughout that series, including how he played in Game 7, is the primary reason that you were able to attain your greatest career achievement. So, of course, you would have wanted him on the Lakers because he would have helped you win another championship if it would have gone that route. I'm glad that it didn't, though, for Kyrie's sake. I've been a Kyrie detractor. I've been someone who has criticized Kyrie Irving. Not necessarily because of the things that he believes in, but because of his methodology for executing some of his stuff. I've looked at some of the things that he has said, and I have said, well, you can say all of that, but the execution of what you are saying is counterintuitive to success. That's been my only gripe with Kyrie. Within a basketball context, I was one of the few people who I know personally who defended his decision to ask for a trade from Cleveland and move away from LeBron. Because here's the thing with LeBron, and this is the reason why, as a lifelong Miami Heat fan, I hated my own team for the 4 years that LeBron James was a Miami Heat. I hated it. I
No.
rooted against the team that I grew up loving because of this one guy and his orbit. I rooted against us. When the Mavericks beat us in 2011, I was happy. When
Yeah,
the
I was happy
Spurs
about
beat
that. I was happy about that.
when the Spurs beat the Heat in 2014, I was happy.
I was happy about
I,
that too.
I honestly was. And it's because when LeBron came to the Heat, I knew that any and all success was going to be attributed to him. So the thing with LeBron is if you win championships as his teammate, you
Yep.
become a footnote in LeBron's career and you become a footnote in LeBron's legacy. So it isn't what you did with your own career, it's what you did to help LeBron win a championship. So Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Ray Allen, Shane Battier, Mario Chalmers, Mike Miller, everybody who played for us with the Heat, those championships are less about what the Heat did, and they're more about those were two LeBron championships. Same thing in Cleveland. Everybody that LeBron played with in Cleveland, Kevin Love, Kyrie, whoever the hell else was on that team, was J.R. Smith on that team?
Yeah.
Whoever else was on that team, you guys are footnotes in LeBron's career legacy. Now, I'm going to speak for myself. I'm not even a pro basketball player. I'm not a pro athlete, but I live life, and credit and acknowledgement is damn near worth as much as fiscal compensation.
Yep.
I have been in situations where I valued credit for my contribution more than the money that I was being paid to make said contribution. And that doesn't make me a glory hog, but I think it is human nature for people to want to be acknowledged for the contributions that they make to success. I don't want to be a part of a winning formula only to have everyone credit the success to one person. Forget all of that. I'm straight off that. And part of the reason why Kyrie decided I'm going to leave Cleveland is because he realized I was one of the primary people responsible for the success of this team and the fact that we won this championship. But all of that is a mere footnote in regards to LeBron bringing a championship back to Cleveland. Not we did this, it's LeBron brought a championship back to Cleveland. LeBron led the team to a championship. LeBron won his third championship. Where they do that? I'm the one that hit the shot in game 7. I averaged 27 a game. I killed my matchup the whole series, but LeBron led me to a championship.
Yeah.
Even if you ascribe to that mode of thinking, me as an individual who has pride for what I do, I'm not going to stand for that. So yeah, trade me. So I totally get it. I totally got where Kyrie was coming from. And by all reports, Kyrie wanted to go to the Lakers. Is what's being reported publicly, is that Kyrie wanted to go to the Lakers. But the owner of the Nets was so disappointed because Kyrie demanded a trade that he refused to give Kyrie what he wanted. So that's why he ended up in Dallas. And they were able to make the trade work. But I think Kyrie is all the better for ending up in Dallas because Kyrie is a mercurial, strong-minded individual, and he thinks for himself. That's one thing that I will give him credit for. And I don't think that he would have wanted, or rather, I don't think that after the dust had settled and he was back in LA and they were doing their thing, he would have appreciated the media and all of these LeBron zealots continuing to give LeBron credit for everything that happened after that trade took place, which is what would have happened. If Kyrie goes to the Lakers and the Lakers end up winning a championship, it's not Kyrie and AD winning with the Lakers and LeBron. It's LeBron won his 5th championship. LeBron did this. LeBron did that. He sucks you into his orbit. And, if I am a viable contributor to a winning formula, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of that. So, I cry me a river, LeBron. You'll live. You already got a whole lot of people who already think you're the greatest player of all time anyway. So who gives a damn whether you win another championship or not? And good for Kyrie, because from a basketball standpoint, he doesn't deserve that. he contributes too much to winning when he's a part of a winning formula to be relegated to a LeBron also ran. And that's what happens when you win as a LeBron teammate. You become a LeBron also ran. And I don't care if you're a role player or if you're a star player. In my opinion, it's too much and you don't deserve that. So, when this trade went down and Kyrie went to Dallas, I said, good job, Nets, for not trading him to the Lakers. And boo, LeBron, oh, we didn't get Kyrie. Yeah, you better say I'm back to focusing on my club. You better say that, you damn politician. He should have been wearing a suit during that interview with an American pin on the jacket collar. Oh, cry me a river. We're about to enter a 2 to 3 week media cycle where all I'm going to hear about is LeBron becoming the all-time leading scorer in the NBA. He's going to get his flowers no matter what. I'm going to have to sit here as a fan and endure listening to this mumbo jumbo for at least 2 to 3 weeks, if not the rest of the entire season.
I feel that.
Like, he's going to break the record before the All-Star break, and you better believe during the All-Star break, that's all they're going to be talking about. Who cares about the game or the festivities? Let's talk about LeBron breaking the record. So how much more do you LeBron zealots want, you gluttons? You just can't take it. You need more LeBron. You need it. You need more LeBron. Feed me more LeBron.
Yeah, man. Listen.
And I'm glad I'm done. But I'm glad that trade didn't go down to the Lakers, and I'm glad Kyrie went to Dallas because he does not deserve to be a LeBron also ran, which would have happened had he been traded to the Lakers.
I feel that. I mean, and I know I think you're just tired of the media frenzy around.
Well, that's my whole thing with LeBron always. It's like Tom Brady. It's the same thing. It's not LeBron as an individual, it's the media entity of LeBron. It's the same thing with Tom Brady. When Tom Brady throws 4 picks, it was receivers and bad weather and batted balls. But if Josh Allen throws 4 interceptions, it's Josh Allen sucks. And they can be the exact same picks in the exact same circumstances. LeBron gets the benefit of that double standard in the same way. So, yeah, and that's a media creation. That's not LeBron doing that. LeBron ain't holding a gun to ESPN's head saying, give me this kind of media coverage. But that's just what they do. And I don't like it. And other players get caught up in the rapture of that. And when you win with him as your teammate, you become a bystander in this dynamic where it's not about what you did. It's about what you helped LeBron do.
Gotcha. And that distinction has to be made just so people don't think it's just like, blatant LeBron just slander. It's like, nah, it's more the media. It's more the media campaigns and hype that they have around people. I mean, this started before he even got in the league, and then when he got there and just did not disappoint. I mean, just coming out the gate dropping 20, and it's just like, oh wow, I guess this guy is good. What the hell? And he just never stopped. So it was the perfect storm. And he fit the bill. And he's been a good spokesman for the league for 2 decades. So, like him or hate him, he still was a good, torch bearer, if you will, of greatness. And when I mean greatness is because he is a great athlete and a great athlete.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
And so I'm telling you, man, because
I'm agreeing. I'm just agreeing begrudgingly. But yeah,
I got you. And so it's when I was growing up, I caught the tail end of Marino's career and Joe Montana's career. Elway. Man, I didn't know how good Elway was when he was coming out of college, and I missed all of that. So I didn't see great quarterbacks until they were old. And then, I'm saying like, oh man, this guy's good or whatever. And, here go my dad going, oh man, you should have seen him when he first came in the league though. And he was doing it. I'm like, oh man. And it wasn't no YouTube back then, so I couldn't watch no highlights.
Yeah.
And so now with these kids, and they can just actually see this guy flying in the air for 20 years. Of course, there's a level of being enamored with that. So I mean, I get the whole appeal and things like that, but the reasons why the things that I don't like that he does, I feel like there's times that he can be real, like here. It wouldn't hurt you to be real right here. You were already being real, and then you just backed it up with your goofy stuff. That's the stuff that I don't care for. But I don't know how it is to tap dance in front of billions of people every time your microphone is on. And he's a liberal. So, so you got to appease a lot of people over there. So, he's got to be Black Lives Matter. He's got to be LGBT plus, but not so LGBT plus that he's raising his kids that way. But I'm an ally, and all this other stuff. Yeah. So he got all of this stuff he got to do. I'm surprised he doesn't have well, what do you call those Secretary of Defense or goddamn Vice President.
A chief of staff.
Yeah, chief of staff.
He does, though. He has a team.
Yeah, he's got a team. Does. So
he definitely has people.
Man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. LeBron for president. and what's that? In 28? So 2028. Let's go LeBron. I'm voting. I'm voting. LeBron.
Him and Kanye should run on the same ticket.
No, they can't.
Yeah, either or. Kanye for president, LeBron for VP, or LeBron for president and Kanye for VP.
Well, at that listen, with UNI-BOOB women running around here and all this other crap we be covering every week, man, who gives a damn? Look who in office now. He don't even know where his pants are. Say, Biden, where's your pants? This guy doesn't know anything. Y'all think that man running this country? So who gives a damn? Put anybody in there. I'll vote for Kanye, and I'll vote for that because this place is already burning to the ground anyway. We might as well get some good laughs as it happens. But yeah, man. Wow.
Yeah. It is wild stuff, man. It is. I'm just, when it comes to basketball, and look, I don't dislike Kyrie. I just think some of the stuff he says doesn't make sense. Just like with Kanye. I like Kanye. I just think sometimes he says things that from a practical standpoint kind of don't make sense. But I respect what they're doing, and I respect the sentiment. But within their respective fields, I have all the respect for them in the world. Kyrie is no different. And I don't buy this notion that he's not a winning player. That's a lot of stuff that's being said. Now, he does have a track record that doesn't look too good in terms of leaving teams when the conditions aren't perfectly the way he wants them to be. But and he can't be your best player. So if he's the best player on your team, you have zero chance to win a championship. But he can be your number two guy. And if you are in a good environment and the organization is well run, I do think that he's a winning player. So I think that this idea of him not being a winning player is overblown. But moreover, he deserves more. His contribution to any winning formula is greater than receiving the treatment of LeBron got his 5th championship. Oh, and Kyrie was there and he helped him do it. I think Kyrie's contribution is worth more than that, in my opinion. And that's what would happen. And I know that that wouldn't sit well with Kyrie. I know it wouldn't, because that's why he asked to be traded from Cleveland in the first place all of those years ago when he ended up in Boston. So I think right now, not right now because the trade already went down, but when he initially requested the trade, the idea of living in Los Angeles and being teamed up with LeBron seemed like an appealing prospect. But me personally, and this is just my speculation, I could be wrong on this. I think that after all of the dust settled on that, and we were firmly in the rigors of the rest of the season going into the playoffs. And all first take in the rest of these shows we're talking about was LeBron is the greatest player of all time, and he could get number 5, and not mentioning anything or anybody else. I think Kyrie would have come to regret being a part of that. But I could be wrong on that. But either way, because he's in Dallas, he won't even have to deal with that possibility, period, because he ain't on the Lakers. And personally, I'm happy about that, because I don't like the way that these other players and coaches and organizations get sucked into his orbit like that. Because he's been the beneficiary of a lot of things, a lot more than what is than what is given credit for, with respect to his career success. And what's often talked about is how he did it all himself and orchestrated it all himself, and that he drags this and drags that and leads this and leads that. And to hell with that. I don't want to play. I don't want to be a part of that. I ain't playing on that.
But yeah, that stuff started since day one. That stuff started day one. All that make his teammates better, that stuff started day one. And I was like, what? And then when I saw him getting 6-7 assists, I was like, oh, I guess, But as I watched more, I was like, ah. So, I mean, hey, world-class talent, never seen anything like it. His size, his speed, all that good stuff, his jumping ability. It's been a pleasure to watch for these last 20 years, from an athletic standpoint. From a fundamentals, X's and O's standpoint, it's very frustrating. Kyrie is also frustrating to watch from an X's and O's standpoint. I don't care for his brand of basketball. Even though, I think his off the court shenanigans are entertaining and serving its purpose. But his on the court stuff, I wouldn't want him on. Sorry, Kyrie.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't want you on the Heat, bro.
Oh, no way. Yeah. No.
I wouldn't want that. So, and that's no shade, bro. It's just like, bro, you wouldn't even want me to play on your YMCA pickup team. So, I'm just saying, bro. Like, I don't want you on me. Like, what's up? But anyway, but yeah, man. So, LeBron, tighten up. He gonna do these things. I don't know if apparently he's not tired of it. He loves the attention. Because what is this interview about? So, he just loved to talk, and he loved to be in the limelight. So he's perfect for the job. He's perfect for the job of president of the NBA, and he's been doing that. So. Way to go, Lebanon, man. Very entertaining, man. And I'll say this, because we are alive and we living. So this is our span of seeing things. We gotta see a unicorn play basketball like that. So other people had other things. I wish I could have seen like Wilt and them play, but honestly, it was just like, bro, it was just a 7-2 guy. He played against 5'4" power forwards.
Yeah.
So of course he getting 60 rebounds. But I'm not trying to slight on him, but I'm just saying it was just you see some of those highlights. It is amazing. He was a great athlete, but it was just like it's different times.
Yeah.
But so we got a good run with Mr. Lebanon. So we'll see what happens with them this year.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. All right, yeah, I'm done. I have nothing left. But
Luka for MVP. So my prediction is correct.
Yeah, you look pretty good with that right now. Honestly, he needs to come back from injury, but yeah, you look pretty good with that. I just hope that it's weird. I'm starting to become a Kyrie, not apologist, but because of the juxtaposition. Yeah, that's a very good word. There you go. So because of the juxtaposition to LeBron, and yeah, I'm starting to become a Kyrie sympathizer on the basketball court. On the within a basketball context. If he says something off the court that makes sense, then fine. He just doesn't do that very often. But within a basketball context, I'm starting to become a sympathizer. I hope that they gel and that the styles fit and that the team succeeds, because all the media is going to do, if it doesn't, is talk about how he should have been with the Lakers and it would have been so much better with LeBron.
Yeah,
So
right.
I'm just over this whole LeBron. LeBron's orbit is just, it's a black hole, you know? But yes, president of the NBA, hell, president of the world. Just put LeBron in charge of the world and we'll all be, LeBron will solve the problem. LeBron will solve Ukraine, Russia. LeBron will solve world hunger. LeBron will make China like us. You know, LeBron will fix UNI-BOOB woman. He'll make women not want to get UNI-BOOBs and plastic surgeries. LeBron will fix all of that. He's a cure-all. LeBron will cure cancer and AIDS. LeBron will do it. Just put LeBron in charge of the world.
Now you're going too far.
Hey, LeBron, you can run the world and I'll just live in it, bro. Hey, you have my vote, sir. If there's a ballot for world leader, LeBron, you have my vote, sir.
Would you not want to see him on a podium though, after something, you know, whatever, and he's giving an address to the United States? You don't think LeBron would do a great job up there on that podium? You don't think he's gonna give a job?
Yeah, I've already seen it. I've seen it for 20 years. So yes, he'll do a wonderful job, and he'll wear those great tailored suits.
Yeah.
He'll do good. He will do great, and he will. And look, he's used to getting all the credit for success anyway. So as he fixes every worldly problem, it'll be on brand because he'll get all the credit. So that's
my vote, LeBron. Got my vote, big dog. I'm voting for you, man.
Good job, LeBron. Appreciate that. All right, man. On that note, we're going to go ahead and close it out for another week on the Constant Approach channel. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Appreciate everybody for watching. Appreciate everybody for joining us along the ride as we continue to grow the community. Please, as always, we have a race to 1,000 subscribers, and we are getting there slowly but surely as we continue to crank out all of this great content. So if you happen to see this video and you are not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Go ahead and click that subscribe button so that whenever new content is posted to the channel, you can be aware as we continue to crank out this good stuff each and every week. You can follow Conscious Approach on Instagram at ConApproach, ConApproach. If you're watching this video on the Meta page, go ahead and follow the page, like the page. Also share this video there as well and share it here. Leave us a comment as well. Join the conversation. We do pay attention to comments as long as they are not of the troll variety. You can follow me on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS. And please be on the lookout for the RSS feed of our episodes. Once we get that squared away, we will be uploading these to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen to your podcast, Pandora, all of that good stuff. So be on the lookout, man. We got a lot of good stuff coming down the pike as we continue to rock and roll. Once again, on February the 7th, 2023, we appreciate you supporting Logical Content.
Yes, sir. And the name is Dogon SS, or should I say Dogon Jaffe Jofa. All right. You can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS or on YouTube at Dogon_SS. Also, as I mentioned to you guys last time, all right, Hurricane Dogon channel on the way. I got caught up in the Texas ice storm. What is Texas having ice storms for? The hell if I know. So I was out of power for 3 days. So so things got a little slowed down, but it ain't stopping the conscious approach. All right. So as I say on every pod, guys, all right, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it player. All right. Don't let anybody get you off your pivot, guys. And until the next time, we'll catch you on the flip side.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Ladies, stay away from the knife. LeBron for president, LeBron for world leader. And you know, shouts out to all my ladies out there holding it down for your man while he's locked up. You the real one.
Y'all the real.
Yeah. And until next time, we'll catch you on the next video. We out. Peace.
Peace.